ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनस्य भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है। आज
We welcome all of you to today's class on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are studying third chapter, verse 10 onwards. In the previous verse, Bhagavan explained that everyone should work for yajna.
नहीं तो कर्म जो है वो बंधन का कारण होता है।
Otherwise, karma becomes the cause of bondage.
कर्म सबको करना पड़ता है।
Everyone has to perform karma. That was explained earlier by Bhagavan. Without karma, we cannot even maintain our body. And irrespective of whoever it is, whether rich or poor, young or old, everyone has to perform karma as long as he or she is in this body. So why not perform karma according to the prescribed manner?
प्रोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रस्वस्यध्वम् एष वस्तुविष्ट कामदुक्।
Translation: in the beginning of creation, after Brahma brought forth humankind along with the performance of yajna, he said, You shall
ये
prosper
ऐसा
by
नहीं है
this
कि वो
yajna.
सभी इच्छित
May it
कामों को
become
पूर्ण
that
करे।
which fulfills all objects of longing desired by you.
तो यहाँ
So here,
सृष्टि के आरंभ से ही
from the beginning of creation,
जो
it is
सत्ता है
told that the Creator,
उन्होंने ही यज्ञ का विधान किया है।
He created this system of yajna.
तो वास्तव में तो
So
ये
actually,
अपने अनुभव की भी चीज है
this is within our experience
कि कोई भी
also
संस्था
that
कोई भी
if any
व्यक्ति कोई भी
institution,
कार्य
any project
जिसमें लोग कुछ कार्य करते हैं
in which people
तो
work,
वहाँ सब एक दूसरे के सहयोग से
so
ही
there
कार्य होता है।
anything can become
कोई भी
successful
संस्था
only by cooperative efforts.
चलेगी
No
नहीं
institution can
सब व्यक्ति केवल
function
उसमें से कुछ
if
लेना ही चाहते हैं।
every member just wants to extract something for his own
इसी
benefit
प्रकार ये
but does not
संसार भी
contribute
एक
anything.
इकाई है,
Similarly, this
एक
world
प्रकार से एक
is
संस्था है।
also and it can be
तो ये
considered as an
सब
institution
के
or a
सहयोग से
project
ही
which can continue
चलेगा।
by everyone's
अगर
cooperative
हम इसमें
effort.
से केवल लेते ही रहेंगे
If
लेते ही
we
रहेंगे
just keep
तो
taking something
इसमें
from
विफलता खड़ी
this,
हो जाएगी।
then there will
तो
be
उसका परिणाम
chaos,
ये होगा कि
and the result will
उसमें
be that
खतरा पैदा हो जाएगा।
our own life will be in danger.
जैसे किसी भी संस्था में अगर आप कुछ
Like
लेना है और
any
लेते ही रहेंगे
institution, if you do
तो
not
संस्था
act,
बंद हो जाएगी,
work in that, but
क्योंकि
you just keep taking
संस्था
something
उसके
from there, the
सदस्य
institution will close down
उसके
because
कर्मचारी
institution can function
उन्होंने कुछ
only
दान
by
दिया
the cooperative
तो वो हर
efforts of
सबको
people.
अगर
Like if there is a company
महीने के अंत में
and at the end of the month,
तनख्वाह
everyone
मिलती है तो
is
तनख्वाह
getting
के
his
लिए वो काम
salary,
करेंगे और वो
then
काम
but he
पूरा
can get
करेंगे।
salary only if he does
अगर
some
उसमें
work
केवल
and
तनख्वाह
the
के लिए कार्य नहीं
company
करें
gets income from that.
तो उसका दिवाला निकल जाएगा, बंद
But
हो
if the
जाएगा,
person does not perform any activity, just keeps
तो इसी
taking money,
प्रकार
then the
सृष्टि
company will
में
become bankrupt.
हमारे समाज में भी
Similarly, in this
किसी भी
creation, in
संस्था
our
हो, एक परिवार
society,
हो, एक
any
घर हो,
place, whether it is a family
एक
or
देश
a
हो,
village,
तो वहाँ सबके सहयोग
any
से ही
country,
कार्य होता है।
then
हमारी
prosperity is
सरकारें
possible only by cooperative work
हमारे
of people.
हमारे देश
Our
में
governments, they
भी ऐसे
administering this
लोग होते हैं
country,
इसलिए
so they also
उनके
need money. That's why they
वहाँ भी
impose
सब वाणिज्य
taxes,
कर लगाते हैं।
income tax,
सड़क
sales
बनती है तो
tax.
वहाँ भी टोल टैक्स लगाते हैं।
If you go on the road, there also
तो
you
अगर
have to
हम
pay toll
कर की
tax.
चोरी करते रहें और कर ना दें तो सरकार कहाँ से
So if we
लोगों
steal
को
if you do not pay the tax, how will the government
तो हम
continue
आशा
to
लगाए रहते
function?
हैं कि हमको सारी
So
सुविधाएं मिल
we
रही हैं
hope
और
that we should get all the
सरकार को
facilities,
सहयोग नहीं देंगे तो
but
कहाँ से
if we do
देंगे।
not give our own contribution
तो
in that,
इसलिए ये
then how can we get the
कार्य की जो
facility?
एक प्रक्रिया
That
है
is
वो
why
इसलिए
the
बनाई है
system of tax has
और
been
जिनके पास
created.
में ज़्यादा
And
सामर्थ्य है वो
those who
सहयोग
have
देते
more
हैं और जिनके
capacity,
पास में नहीं है
more
उनसे
tax is levied on
सहयोग
them.
लिया जाता है।
Those who have less capacity, either
तो उसी
they
से
less tax is levied on them or they do not
देश
pay
चलता है।
tax. So this is
तो
how
वही
the
प्रक्रिया
country can
पूरे
function.
संसार में
Similarly,
भी लागू है,
the same
इसीलिए
the same concept
प्रजापति
applies to the whole world also.
जिन्होंने प्रजा की
That is
सृष्टि
why
की
the Prajapati who created
तो उन्होंने
this
भी यज्ञ
world,
7 यज्ञ
Brahma,
बनाया
he
और उन्हीं
also,
के यज्ञ का
along
परिणाम
with
है
the
कि वो
creation, he
संसार
gave
में
the he
जो भी
prescribed yajna,
समाज में होंगे उनको
that
यज्ञ करना
people
चाहिए
who in the society they
और
should
यज्ञ करने
perform
से
yajna.
कहा कि इससे तुम्हारी समृद्धि होगी,
And he also said that you
समृद्धि
will prosper by this
तो
yajna
समृद्धि
only.
होने का मतलब यही है कि अगर
So
हम
here
सहयोग करेंगे
prosperity means
और
that if
लेना
we
नहीं
just keep taking
और
but we do
समृद्धि
not
नहीं
give
करेंगे
anything, then how can we attain
तो
prosperity?
संसार में जितनी भी चीजें हैं
Because all the things in this
वो
world,
सीमित होती हैं।
they are limited.
तो अगर उनकी वृद्धि ना हो या उनको
So if they
समान
do
रूप
not
से
expand,
इच्छा
if
अपनी आवश्यकता के अनुसार ना बांटा जाए, एक व्यक्ति ज्यादा ले
if
लेगा
if it is if the distribution of wealth is done
तो यहाँ
disproportionately,
विषमता पैदा हो जाएगी
then there will be chaos,
और उसी से फिर अनेक प्रकार की लड़ाई झगड़े खड़े होते हैं।
and then it will lead to a lot of fighting.
तो इसलिए उन्होंने कहा कि आपकी जो इच्छाएं
So
हैं
that
वो
is
इस
why he
यज्ञ से
said
पूरी होंगी
that your desires will be
और
fulfilled
संपूर्ण
by
रूप
this
से
yajna.
और
This is why
समृद्धि
the
होगी।
yajna
और
system
जैसा
was
कि
created.
पिछले प्रवचन में मैंने कहा
And
कि
as I said in the previous class
देव
also,
पूजा, दान और संगतिकरण
that peace is possible by Dev Puja Dan.
इस संसार के
So the Devata
व्यवस्थापक हैं,
who are
उनकी
administering
सहायता
this
करना चाहिए तो
world,
वे हमारी सहायता करेंगे।
we cooperate with
तो
them
दान
so
देना
that they also help us.
तो दान देना
And giving charity, that is also a very
तो वो
important
केवल
limb of
भोजन
yajna.
ही नहीं, हमारे जीवन का ही
It
एक
is not just
हिस्सा
during
है।
yajna, it should be a principle in our life
तो हम भोजन करते
to
हैं
give charity. Like we eat
समर्थन देते
food,
हैं, और जो आसपास
if we just eat
की
ourselves
आवश्यकता है उनको
and
दें,
those who are near
अगर
us,
हमारी सामर्थ्य है तो।
if we should give them also within our capacity.
पहले इस प्रकार की प्रथा थी,
So
ऐसी
earlier,
बात
this
नहीं
sort
है,
of system was there in the society.
अभी नहीं है उस प्रकार से
Now we
लोग,
do not have
और
such
आज के लोगों
system.
में
People have
ज़्यादातर
forgotten. I remember in the village,
धर्मशास्त्र के ज्ञाता नहीं थे।
they were not
पहले
some experts in Dharma Shastra.
गांव के लोग भी जब
They were
भोजन
not
करते थे
educated. But I remember
तो
when they used to sit for having
आसपास पक्षी,
food,
पशु,
then before
जैसे
starting
बकरी
to eat,
है, कुत्ता है,
everything was
सब
open
उनको
there.
खाना
So
देते थे।
nearby, if there was some dog or
उसी के
birds,
लिए वे
then
डालते
they
थे।
used to give food to
तो
them
वो
also
होता
first.
था, हमारी माता जी
When
सबसे
food
पहले
was cooked
चपाती
in the
बना के
home,
निकाल के
so
रखती
I
थी।
remember my mother used to give the first chapati to
तो
the
ऐसे
cow.
एक प्रकार से देने की प्रथा थी, ये भी एक यज्ञ है।
So this sort of system was there
और
for sharing,
मैंने
for
देखा कुछ लोग
contributing.
भोजन
And
करने से
I
पहले
have seen
लट्टू
some
उठाकर
people
अग्नि में डालते हैं,
before before
मंत्र
eating
पढ़ते हैं,
the
प्राणाह
first
स्वाहा,
piece of food they give in the agni, in the
और इस
fire,
प्रकार से
and
वो
they chant some mantra.
प्राणाह स्वाहा, समानाह स्वाहा, व्यानाह स्वाहा करके, मतलब वो भी एक प्रकार का यज्ञ है, जो हम भोजन कर रहे हैं हमारे,
So eating food is also a type of yajna.
तो उसमें आहुति डाल रही
So
है,
there is the fire of
तो वो
digestion
यज्ञ
in
है।
the
जैसे
stomach and we are feeding
इसके
food into that.
श्लोक की व्याख्या
So
में
that is also a type of
श्रीमद्
yajna.
भगवान
So as I
वैष्णव
had
देवता
explained earlier, yajna means Vishnu also,
हवन कुंड में जो अग्नि है,
and the
उसमें जो
fire
आहुति दी जाती है
sacrifice,
उसको भी यज्ञ बोलते हैं।
that is also yajna.
देवता उस उद्देश्य न द्रव्य त्याग याग। तो हमारे उपनिषदों में
So in
ये जो
our
क्रियाएं
Upanishads,
हैं, यानी कि
these
भोजन करने की
activities
क्रिया को
like
अनेक
eating,
रूप में वर्णन किया गया है। भगवान भी कहते हैं कि हम वैश्वानरो
is
भूत्वा
all
प्राणिनां
yajna.
देहमास्ते पचामि, प्राणापान समायुक्त पचामि अन्नम चतुर्विधम। तो वो वैश्वानर अग्नि है, तो उसमें भी आहुति
So
डालेंगे,
Bhagavan says that he is the
तो
Vaishnavanar
वो यज्ञ की बनी रहेगी।
Agni. So we are feeding food into that.
तो
So
इसलिए
our mentality is always that we are performing
यज्ञ
yajna.
सह यज्ञ
So for that reason, here
प्रजा।
Bhagavan is telling,
प्रजा का मतलब होता है जो पैदा होते हैं,
Praja means those who are born.
वास्तव में तो
So
प्रजा,
actually,
जो भी जन्म लेता है वो सब प्रजा है,
anybody who is
लेकिन
born
यहाँ पर
falls within the
वैश्वानर
category of Praja. But
का
here,
सीमित अर्थ है।
the word Praja has limited meaning only for human
दूसरे
beings
पशु पक्षी तो ये सब यज्ञ
because
नहीं कर सकते,
the other
और
species they cannot perform yajna.
लेकिन ऐसा कोई विहित यज्ञ नहीं करते हैं।
Although
और
they
भी
do
कई
yajna, but they do not do
विशिष्ट
anything
यज्ञ
that
हो
is
सकते हैं।
prescribed.
जैसे पेड़ पौधे हैं,
Like
पृथ्वी से जल
trees, plants,
खाद
they
लेते
are
हैं,
they are taking water and nutrients from the earth,
सिंचाई
and
करते हैं,
they are giving
फल देते हैं,
fruits.
तो
They release the gas
सारे
for
यज्ञ
purifying the
यज्ञ
air.
कहते हैं।
So this happens automatically.
लेकिन मनुष्य के लिए
But
विशेष विधि
for a
होती है,
human being,
इसलिए
there
प्रजा
is
शब्द
separate
का
prescription. That is why
अर्थ
here the word praja
मनुष्य है,
refers only to human
इसका अर्थ
beings.
सीमित है।
It has limited
शंकराचार्य जी और
meaning.
भी सीमित अर्थ करते हैं इसका, वो
Shankaracharya ji also
इसलिए
gives
कहते हैं
more
कि
limited
इसमें
meaning.
त्रैवर्णिक है,
He says that this refers
ब्राह्मण
to the three
क्षत्रिय वैश्य।
varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishya.
लेकिन दूसरे आचार्यगण ऐसा नहीं
But
मानते,
the other acharyas, they do not
मनुष्य मात्र के लिए है,
consider like that. They say that this is
इसलिए
for every human
ये
being.
केवल
Because here,
अग्नि में
the
डालने के लिए
meaning
है।
of yajna is not just fire sacrifice.
दूसरा ये है कि
Another point
जो
is
हमारी
that nowadays,
धारणा है
the
कि
concept that we have
काम करेंगे और पैसा
that
कमाएंगे,
we will work
इसी
and
से
we
सब
will
कुछ
get
है,
money, and with that,
ये
everything can be achieved in life.
अर्थ पर केंद्रित है।
Everything is centered nowadays around money.
जैसे इस श्लोक में कहा कि
As
वो अस्तु इष्ट काम दुख,
as is explained
कि
in
ये
this
यज्ञ
verse,
जो है ये आपका
that this
काम
yajna
दुख होगा,
will
कामधेनु
be the
होगा।
Kamadhuk, the
जैसे
Kamadhenu.
कामधेनु का वर्णन शास्त्र में आता है,
Like in Shastra, the
जो
Kamdhenu
आपकी इच्छा
cow
पूरी
is
करती है,
explained. She is a cow
तो ये
who
काम
can fulfill
इसको
any
लेकर
wish.
बताया गया है।
So Yajna is also
तो आज
explained
हम
like
ऐसा
that.
सोचते हैं कि
So
हमारी
nowadays we
इच्छाएं
think
केवल अर्थ से
that
पूरी
our
होती हैं,
desires will be fulfilled
इसलिए
just
यज्ञ
by
देवता
money.
भगवान
So Yajna,
इस
Devata, Bhagavan, they
हस्तक्षेप
do not have any role to play
ऐसी आज की
in that.
आधुनिक मान्यता है,
This is the modern mentality,
वास्तव में ऐसा है नहीं।
but this is not true actually.
और क्योंकि ये आधुनिक मान्यता वाले इसको नहीं मानते हैं तो उसका
And because
परिणाम
those of modern mentality do not accept this,
व्यापार
then
खराब है,
we can see the whole world is suffering because of this.
ग्लोबल वार्मिंग हो गया,
Nowadays, there is so much talk of global warming, climate change,
पोल्यूशन हो गया,
pollution,
जल का इतना दोहन किया जा रहा है
and so much
जिससे
water is being extracted from the
सबसे बड़ी
earth.
समस्या खड़ी हो गई है।
So
जैसे
one
कि
day this will
भारत
be a big
में
problem,
यहाँ पे
especially in India,
जनसंख्या है,
because
आप
population is so
बढ़ाते रहेंगे तो
there's
उसमें
such a big population in this country and you
जल
keep
का उपयोग
extracting
होगा
water out of the earth, so it is limited, available only in limited amount.
दें भी,
So yajna does not
या
mean that we just keep taking, we should give also. So giving, if we
तो
are giving, that means there are some devatas behind this and we offer
ये
something to
हमारी
them.
शास्त्रीय मान्यता है कि
So this is the
सूर्य के
verdict of
देवता हिंदू हैं,
Shastra,
जल के देवता वरुण हैं,
that there are different
अग्नि देवता
devatas for the
वायुदेव हैं,
different elements.
अग्निदेव हैं, तो उनको अगर हम प्रसन्न करें
So if we
तो
please them,
हर चीज
then everything
सुचारू रूप से हमको मिलती
can
रहेगी।
we can be obtained
तो ये यहाँ
properly.
पर कहने का मतलब है कि ये जो कहा कि काम धुक,
So this is what we
काम धुक का
mean
मतलब यही नहीं है कि
by
हम सकाम रूप से
Kamadhuk here.
काम करें,
So Kamadhuk
बल्कि आगे
does not mean that
कहते हैं
we
कि
actually perform Sakam karma, because
ऐसा नहीं है कि
going ahead.
केवल अपनी भौतिक कामनाओं की पूर्ति करने के लिए
So
लेकिन
Bhagwan has
इसके
not
पीछे
made
कोई
this
दूसरा
system just for
कारण
fulfilling material desires,
इसकी भी
but the system is designed in such a way that ultimately we attain the
तो
Paramashreyas.
उन्हीं के लिए
Because Yajna also means Vishnu. So we should work
इस
for
समर्पित होकर
Vishnu.
कार्य करना, उसी से
We
संबंध
should
है।
work being surrendered to Him. That will lead to
लेकिन
prosperity.
इसका कारण कार्य भाव, कॉज एंड इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप, ये संबंध जो है वो आम आदमी की समझ में नहीं आता है कि
So
यज्ञ फल से
superficially,
क्या
it is very difficult to understand the cause-effect
लेकिन
relationship with
जो
this Yajna.
सृष्टि की प्रणाली को समझते हैं
But those who understand the
कि
whole
सृष्टि
mechanism
कैसे
behind
हुई,
how this world
कैसे चलती है,
operates, how it was created, how it
उनको इनको समझने
functions,
में कोई समस्या नहीं
they
आती
do
है,
not have any problem
क्योंकि
in understanding this.
वैज्ञानिक
But
दृष्टि से
when
देखते हैं कि
we
जब
analyze from the modern
ब्रह्मांड
scientific
बनाया
point of
गया
view
तो
and we think
उसका
that this is not created by Bhagwan,
एक्सप्लोजन हुआ,
there was a
उससे
major
बना
explosion
और फिर धीरे
and
धीरे
then this world originated
अनेक
and
प्रकार के
then
जीव जंतु पैदा
slowly
हुए,
different
तो उसमें फिर यज्ञ
living
का
beings
कोई
they
भूमिका
emerged.
नहीं है,
Then there is no use of any yajna in
उसका
that,
कोई प्रयोजन नहीं
and
है।
the Devi Devatas
लेकिन
they do not
वास्तविकता
have
तो
any
ये
role
है,
in that. But this is not the reality.
वास्तविकता तो ये है कि जैसे हर
The
कोई
fact
भी
is
कार्य होता है तो
that
उसके पीछे कोई ना
like
कोई
when
कर्ता
any
होता है,
activity is done, it has a
जैसे हम
doer
बिजली
behind
चलाते
it.
हैं,
Nothing happens
जैसे हम
automatically.
मकान बनाते हैं तो
If
उसमें
you have to construct a small house also,
लेकिन उसकी
for that
व्यवस्था
you
होती है,
have to work so hard, you
इस
have to
संसार में
make
बड़ा
so much
संसार है,
planning.
बड़े
So
व्यवस्थित
this
रूप से
such a
चल
big
रहा है,
world which is working so
बगैर
systematically,
योजना के और बगैर व्यवस्था
then
मैनेजमेंट के नहीं चल
it
रहा
is
है।
not possible that this world is
तो
functioning
उसमें
without
यही
any
है कि
system, without any management,
करेंगे उसी
without any
सिस्टम को अगर
plan.
हम बिगाड़ेंगे
So if
तो
we
उसका
work
परिणाम यही
against the
होगा
principle of the
कि
functioning
इस
of this
विकराल
world, then we
संसार
will
में
have to suffer the
नहीं
reaction.
है,
Like if you are in your family,
आप कुछ भी
then
ना करें,
if you do not do anything in the
खाएं
family
और रहें तो
and
परिणाम
you
यही
just
होगा।
eat, sleep, remain there, then how long can you
तो
continue in that
इसलिए ये
family?
संसार जो है
That is why this world
बनाया हुआ है,
is created,
इसलिए इसको सृष्टि बोलते हैं,
and that is why it is
और
called
इसके पीछे एक
Srishti,
व्यवस्था है,
and there is a
तो उस व्यवस्था को समझकर
system, there is an order behind
हमारा
it.
जीवन सुखी
So we
होगा।
should understand the order, the principle behind how
इस
this world
विषय
functions, and then we can live happily. Otherwise, we will
तो
always have
भगवान इसलिए कहते हैं
problems.
कि इष्ट काम
That
दुख,
is why here it is
करने से
said, Ishta Kamadhuk,
इच्छित काम
that
पूर्ण
by
होगा।
doing yajna, your desires will
तो
be
इसमें जो
fulfilled.
इष्ट शब्द है इसकी दो प्रकार से व्युत्पत्ति होती है, एक यज धातु से होती है और एक इष्ट धातु से। तो अगर ईशु इच्छायाम धातु से इष्ट शब्द को बनाते हैं तो उसका मतलब होगा कि आपकी कामनाओं की पूर्ति करेगा।
So then this Ishta meaning will be that it
इसमें भगवान
fulfills
की
your
जो
desires. If it is from Yash Dhatu,
सामग्री है वो
then
आपको मिलेगी,
the Yajna Samagri,
इस
you will
प्रकार
get
से किया
that.
जा सकता है
The meaning can be taken in both ways. If your desires are fulfilled, then also you need the samagri, and if the yajna is done, then also you get.
इसको इष्ट काम यहाँ पर कहा गया है।
That is why here it is said
कहने का
ishtakam.
मतलब ये है कि
So the point is
संसार
that
में अगर हम पैदा हुए हैं तो हमारा
if we
कुछ
are born in
अधिकार
this
है, कुछ
world,
कर्तव्य है।
then we have some adhikar, and
आज सबसे
we have
सबसे
some
बड़ी
rights, and we have some duties also.
अधिकार
Today
ये
the
है
biggest problem is that we are
कि
just
मेरा ये
fighting
अधिकार
for
है,
our rights, to claim
फ्रीडम
our
ऑफ स्पीच
rights, like
सबसे बड़ा
freedom of
अधिकार जो
speech,
होता है कि
the
मैं कुछ भी कह
biggest
सकूं।
right, that I should have the right to speak
लेकिन
anything.
अधिकार तभी
But
बनता है जब हमारा कुछ
adhik
कर्तव्य होता है।
rights
अगर
are
कर्तव्य नहीं
given
होंगे
only if you have some duties.
क्यों है आपका अधिकार?
If there are no duties to be performed, why should you have any right?
मूलभूत
Like in
अधिकार है।
constitution we have
तो
fundamental
अगर
rights.
किसी से ये प्रश्न पूछा जाए
So if somebody is
क्यों
asked
है मूलभूत
that
अधिकार
why do you should you have fundamental rights,
और किसने दिए हैं आपको?
and who has given these fundamental rights
कि
to
आपके
you?
पास ये राइट है या अधिकार है,
If
किसने
you
दिया
have
है?
this right, who has given this to you?
लेकिन सब ऐसे मान लेते हैं कि हाँ मेरा ये
But
फंडामेंटल
everybody
राइट
just
है।
assumes that this is my fundamental right.
क्यों है और किसने दिया है?
But why do you have this right, and why it has been given to you? Because if you have a
अधिकार तो
right,
किसी ने
somebody
नहीं
has
दिया तो
given that
आप
right to
अधिकार कुछ
you.
भी बना लो
If nobody has given, then you can imagine anything as your fundamental right.
जितना वो बोलता
Why
है।
do you have these many fixed number of fundamental rights only?
अधिकार उसी को
So
मिलता है जिसको
actually,
कुछ कर्तव्य
rights
है।
are given only to that person who has
जब आप कुछ
responsibilities,
कर्तव्य करना चाहेंगे तो आपको कुछ अधिकार भी देना
who
पड़ेगा।
has duties. Because when
जैसे
you
मानो आपको
have to perform your duties, then
किसी
you
को
need some right
रखना
also.
है आश्रम,
Like say you have a
तो उसके
duty to
साथ
cook
साथ एक
food,
अधिकार भी तो आएगा ना।
then along with that you will get some
जैसे
rights
आप
also.
कहें उसके कि नहीं यहाँ मत
That if
आइए,
anybody else comes in the kitchen, you should have the right to
या ये
prohibit
चीज़
that
यहाँ मत
person from
रखिए,
entering,
तो
or
अधिकार
you can
होता है
say that
किसी
don't
को।
keep this here. So you will have some
लेकिन जैसे
rights.
अगर हर एक आदमी रसोई में जाके कुछ भी उठा के खा
Otherwise,
ले
anybody and everybody will enter in the kitchen and take
और
whatever
कुछ
from there.
पकाने लगे
If everybody
तो
enters the kitchen and starts cooking something,
पाचक है वो कैसे भोजन तैयार
then
करेगा?
how will the cook actually be able to
उसको
prepare
कोई
the
अधिकार
food,
दिया जाएगा
to
कि
cook
नहीं
the
आप
food?
लोगों को अंदर
So
नहीं
he
आने
should be
देंगे,
given some rights,
ऐसा कोई
that
रूल्स है?
you have the rights to disallow,
तो
to
हमेशा ऐसा ही
prohibit
होता है।
such and such person from entering. So everywhere you
किसी
have
को
such systems.
कर्तव्य सौंपते हैं, गेट पर
If
खड़े
you give
होते हैं
some duty to
कि
somebody,
आप यहाँ
let's
पे
say you stand in front of the
संभालिए,
door and act as the
तो कुछ
security
अधिकार
guard,
भी आता है ना
then
कि पुलिस
that
वाले
person should have some right
जय
also
विजय ने रोका है ना
to
कि आप
stop
यहाँ
somebody. Like Jai Vijay, they
तो अगर
stopped the four
अधिकार से
Kumaras.
रोका ना
They
तो
stopped
अधिकार
the
है।
four Kumaras because they
तो
had a
जब भी
duty
कर्तव्य होगा तभी अधिकार मिलेगा।
as a
जब
doorkeeper.
आप
So
अधिकार
when you
से
have duty, only then you get the rights.
रोकेंगे
But if you just talk about rights
तो
but do
उससे
not perform your duty,
अव्यवस्था हो जाएगी।
then there will be chaotic situation.
तो हम समाज में रहते
So
हैं
we live in the
और
society
हम कहते हैं कि
and
हमारे
we say
अधिकार हैं,
that we
हम
have
सांस
such
लेते हैं,
rights, like we breathe,
हम जल पीते हैं,
we drink
हम
water,
भोजन खाते
we
हैं,
eat food.
कहते हैं ना हमारा
We
अधिकार है,
say that this is our
हमारा
right. We
अधिकार
have
है,
the
हमारा
right to
बोलने का
live.
अधिकार है।
We have the right
तो उसके साथ में
of
कुछ कर्तव्य भी
speech.
होना चाहिए
So
ना
along with that,
कि
you
आप
should have
बोलिए,
responsibilities also.
ना
That
बोलिए,
when you have the right to speak, it is your duty to not speak in such a way that gives stress to other person.
दूसरे को अव्यवस्था खड़ी
It
हो।
disturbs the other person. You should not speak like that.
तो हम सृष्टि से इन सब चीजों को लेते
So
हैं
when we are taking all the elements from this world and we consider that as
उसके
our
साथ में
right,
कुछ कर्तव्य
then
भी होते
along
हैं।
with that we will have some duties also.
तो उसकी शिक्षा आजकल नहीं दी
So
जाती।
that is not taught anywhere today.
तो इसलिए गीता जो है
That is why
प्रायोगिक
Gita
शिक्षा
is a very practical, Gita is
यही
teaching
नहीं कि
something
ऐसा
very
लग रहा है कि
practical.
वो पुराने
If you
जमाने
just
की
read,
बात
you
है,
will feel that this is all old fashioned stuff doing yagyas and all.
प्रयोगिक
No,
चीज है,
this
आजकल
is
की
very
बात है।
practical
तो ये
teaching in today's environment,
पहले की बात है
because this is talking about your
कि आप
duty,
समाज में रहते
that
हैं
you are living in this society
और आप सब सुविधा
and
लेते
you are
हैं,
taking all the facilities from the
सड़क
society.
पर चलते
You are
हैं,
walking on the road.
म्यूनिसिपैलिटी है,
The municipality is
कूड़ा
there.
उठाती
It
है,
has garbage collection
सफाई
system,
ठीक रखती है,
road maintenance
ड्रेनेज
system,
सिस्टम है,
drainage maintenance
तो फिर
system.
आपका भी तो कुछ
Then
कर्तव्य
you
बनता
also
है
have some duty,
कि आपके लिए सुविधाएं मिल रही हैं
because you are getting these facilities.
तो आपको भी कुछ
Then
करना
you
चाहिए।
also should have to
जब
pay
पैसा
some
आने की
tax.
बात आए तब
But
आप
when it
कहेंगे
comes to payment of tax, then people
तो
hesitate.
इसलिए फिर वो कहाँ से
So then, how will you get the facility? Otherwise, those people who are in the middle, those who have the responsibility to provide this facility, if they themselves become corrupt, so they have got some duty to perform, but they are not doing that. Rather, they just keep claiming their rights. Like if you have a clerk in a bank and he takes the money of the bank in his pocket and goes to home. So one day, 2 days, he will, second day he will be caught.
पकड़ा जाएगा उस। लेकिन समाज में इस तरह का ही चलता है कि जिन लोगों को कर्तव्य कर्म
But
मिला
in
है,
society, it happens that those who have got the responsibilities, the duties, whom nowadays we call ministers,
देता है कि हमारे लिए कुछ सेवा करेंगे,
they get votes from the public in expectation of performance of service. But instead of performing service, if the servant himself becomes the served,
होगी कि नहीं होगी?
then there will be problem.
तो कहते तो हम अपने आप को सेवक हैं,
So we say that we are servant,
बने हुए हैं
but we have become the savior, served.
व्यवहारिक रूप में
When it comes to practical dealings, we act as served, although we say that we are the servant of the society, we are the servant of the public.
यहाँ पर एक आ गया। तो इस प्रकार की
So this mentality should be uh, the mentality of yajna should be there from the beginning in our life, that this life has been given to perform yajna.
मनुष्य है,
As I said that here praja means human being. So human life is meant for this only. Otherwise there will be bondage of karma, like he told earlier.
लोको अयम कर्म बंधन, कि यज्ञ के अलावा आप जो भी कार्य करेंगे
That other than yajna, anything that you perform
बंधन का कारण होगा।
will become a cause of bondage.
अगर कोई निषिद्ध
That is why if you perform a forbidden act,
उसको भी यज्ञ रूप में कीजिए।
that also should be done as a yajna.
पता ना हो, हमारे यहाँ चौर
You may not know, we had a chaur shastra also.
चोरी करते हैं,
People who steal,
उनके लिए भी शास्त्र था।
for them also there was a shastra. Even for theft,
इसको कुछ नियमित रूप से
means even theft,
तो उससे उनका भी सुधार होगा।
if it is done, it should be done in a prescribed way so that they get reformed.
उनका भी धर्म था, चोरों का भी धर्म था।
Even the thieves had a dharma.
आजकल इसको समझते नहीं हो, कहते हैं कि यहाँ तो मांस
Nowadays, people don't understand. They say that in Shastra there is talk of eating meat, animal sacrifice. But the point is, it was not for everybody.
इस प्रकार के लोग भी हो,
Because in society, you have such people also who have this swabhava. So how will you reform them?
तो उनको सुधारने के लिए
So in order to reform them,
प्रकल्प उनको दिया गया था।
this system was created for them. The idea was not that you encourage them to perform theft or sacrifice animals or eat meat, but the system was created so with the objective of reforming them. Like Vyasa says
कि जो मूढ़ लोग हैं कर्म से उनका
that those who are fools, how they can achieve Shreya by karma, for them I create this system.
भी अधिकार की बात है। वो जो पशु
So there also it is talk of adhikar
सबका
regarding animal sacrifice. Everybody is not entitled to that.
मांस खाना नहीं,
And the objective of that animal sacrifice is not just to kill them and eat their meat. The objective is that those who have this inclination,
कैसे हटा
how to remove that inclination from them slowly
यज्ञ के माध्यम से
by performance of yajna.
करने की
So one is that they will also get accustomed to perform dharma,
खान पान करने
and whatever they are eating, it will become regulated.
बार खाओ।
Not that you eat meat 3 times a day.
बहुत मांसाहारी लोग हैं,
Like nowadays, many non-vegetarians, they eat meat three times in a day. So the idea earlier was to discipline them, to regulate them,
हारा जाए,
and slowly reform their swabhava.
शास्त्र ने दी है।
So for that, Shastra has given a methodology, a system.
प्रजा
So that is why here it is said Sahajagya Praja. Here Praja means any human being. So this is for everyone. It is not just for Hindus, because everyone is Praja.
प्रजा है क्योंकि
Those who are not Hindus, they are also Praja.
प्रजा किया,
Praja means anybody who has taken birth. So this is for everybody.
ऐसा करने से ही
And if you act like this, only then there will be prosperity in the society.
तो क्या होगा,
Otherwise, what will happen?
रिद्धि होगी,
there will be Vairiddhi,
दिवाला निकल जाएगा समाज,
means everyone will become bankrupt. Like nowadays,
समस्या रहती है।
we see financial problems
विदेशों में
everywhere.
भी जाओ, हर जगह
You
आप
go to any
आर्थिक
country,
समस्या की बात
there
सुनोगे।
is you will hear talks of
दूसरा जो
economic
योग है इसका,
problems,
इस शब्द का,
financial deficits.
वो इससे थोड़ा
Another
और गहरा है।
perspective of this verse is even
वो
at a
है
deeper level, and that is
कि किस प्रकार से
that
एक
how
व्यक्ति जिसने जन्म
every
लिया है
person who has taken birth,
उसको जो परम श्रेय है उसकी तरफ प्रवृत्त कराया जाए।
how to encourage that person to move
हमारा
towards Paramashreya, the
उद्देश्य
ultimate
क्या
benefit.
है, इसका उद्देश्य
Because
क्या
human
है,
form of life is not just
इसलिए
meant for eating,
आहारम निद्रा
drinking.
मैथुनम च समानम एतत् पशुभिः नराणाम्। तो केवल आहार निद्रा भय मैथुन इसके
Only
लिए तो पशु,
eating, sleeping, mating, defending,
तो
this is
मनुष्य का
done
जो
by
जन्म है
animals also. But human life
जिसे
is above
जिसको
this.
मोक्ष कहें,
That is meant to achieve the
जिसको
ultimate benefit, whether you call it moksha or bhakti.
तो जैसा
A human life is meant for this. So,
संदर्भ
like
में
Sri
विशेष
Jiva
रूप से
Goswami ji explains in Sandarbhas,
मनुष्य का जो
that
बंधन है उसका मुख्य कारण है
the
भगवत
the
वैमुख्यता,
primary cause of bondage
यानी
of human being
भगवान
is
से परायण
Bhagavad
होना,
Vaimukhyata,
भगवान को भूल जाना।
that is to turn one's attention away from Bhagavan, not
यही समस्या का
recognizing Bhagavan.
मूल है।
This is the root cause of
इसलिए
bondage.
उस समस्या का समाधान है सामुख्यता,
So the solution for the Vaimukhyata is Samukhyata,
अपना
that is to turn one's attention towards Bhagavan. How to
उसके लिए
turn
ये
the
आरंभिक
consciousness towards
आरंभिक नियम
Bhagavan.
है।
So for that, this is the primary
जैसा
step,
यज्ञ
what
का
is being
सिद्धांत
told
है।
in this verse.
तो प्रजापति ने
So the
ये इस प्रकार
Prajapati,
की व्यवस्था
Brahma,
दी है
he has given this
कि
system
मनुष्य मात्र
so that every human being,
विमुक्ता को छोड़कर
he
सामुख्यता की
gives
प्राप्ति
up
करे।
the
तो
Vaimukhyata
समाज में
and achieves
संसार में ऐसी
Samukhyata,
कोई भी
means
कमी
he turns his consciousness towards Bhagavan.
होती है जब हम भगवान को भूल जाते
So
हैं।
there is no scarcity actually. Scarcity
तो
happens
जैसे
only
पशु
when
पक्षी हैं, अगर
we do
मनुष्य
not recognize Bhagavan.
उनमें हस्तक्षेप ना करे तो वो शांति से
Like
रहते
if
हैं।
you see the other species, if human beings do not disturb them, they
लेकिन
live
जब हम
peacefully.
हस्तक्षेप करते हैं
But
तो
when we
उनमें
start
भी समस्या
disturbing
पैदा
them,
होती
then we create trouble for us, but we create trouble for
है।
them
अनेक प्रकार
also.
की जो योनियां हैं,
So
स्पीसीज हैं, वो
many
खत्म हो
species
गई
which
हैं।
are there, they have become extinct because of the greed of human
तो
beings.
इसलिए ये यज्ञ की प्रक्रिया
That
बनाई
is
गई
why
कि मनुष्य
this
मात्र
system of yajna has been
सामुख्यता
made so that human beings they can become Bhagavad
सामुख्यता करे,
Samukhya, they can turn their attention
किसी
towards
चीज की
Bhagavan.
कोई कमी नहीं रहे,
And when attention is towards Bhagavan, then there will be no scarcity in life
दे सकते हैं।
because Bhagavan can give
इसलिए ही
everything.
यहाँ पर कहा कि अनेन
That is
प्रशस्यते
why
ऊर्ध्वम
here it is said
कि आप इससे समृद्ध होइए,
that you
या इस यज्ञ की समृद्धि
become prosperous by this, or you will achieve prosperity by
या
performance
उसमें
of
यज्ञ
yajna.
पुरुष प्रसन्न
Because when
होकर
we perform yajna and yajna purush
सभी
becomes
अभिष्ट करते
pleased,
हैं।
then the yajna purush will
इसलिए
fulfill all your
इस प्रकार
desires.
की भावना
That is why this desire for welfare of others,
जो
this is the primary objective
ऐसे
of yajna,
पदार्थ डालना दैनिक
means to inculcate a habit of giving
आपस
charity
में
to others
आपस में सहयोग से रहना।
and living with cooperation.
तो जब आप कुछ परोपकार करते हैं, किसी
So when
दूसरे
you do
व्यक्ति
any
की मदद
welfare
करते
to
हैं,
somebody else,
तो देखने में तो यही आता है कि आप
then
कुछ कर रहे हैं, उसका
superficially
भला
it
हो रहा है,
appears that you are doing something
उससे
and the other person is just
परिणाम
getting
बहुत अच्छा
benefited.
होगा।
But actually, the doer is getting
लेकिन जिस
benefited
व्यक्ति
much
को
more
आपका
than the person
स्वभाव
to whom charity is being given. Like if somebody is hungry and you are feeding him,
आपको क्या
then
मिल
that
रहा है,
person is getting fed.
आपको मिल रहा
But
है
what are
अच्छे
you
संस्कार,
getting? You are getting good
और
samskaras.
अच्छे संस्कार का
And
महत्व किसी
uh,
दूसरे के भोजन से बहुत ज्यादा है।
good samskaras, they are far more
इसलिए
important
दूसरे
than
व्यक्ति
just being fed one
को
time.
निष्काम भाव से
So
परोपकार करना,
when we
उसकी चर्चा
benefit
करने से उसको
someone
कुछ फायदा
with
मिलेगा,
Nishkam Bhav,
उससे तो फिर आपका
without
संस्कार
any selfish desire,
व्यवसायिक संस्कार पड़ेगा।
if you help
किसी
somebody
का
with
उपकार
selfish
करोगे
desire, then you will get the Sakama Samskar.
तो आपके
But if
हृदय में
you
अच्छे
help
संस्कार पड़ते हैं,
without any selfish desire, then you get good samskaras.
वो वास्तविक फल है।
And that is the real benefit, the real fruit.
आपकी कोई प्रशंसा करे, जैसा
If
लोक प्रवृत्ति
somebody
होती है कि
praises
प्रशंसा
you,
करे, वो वास्तविक
like
फल नहीं उस प्रशंसा
people have the desire for recognition that I did something good for somebody,
तो
but that is
सेवा
not
करने
actually a
से
good
क्या होता है कि
samskara.
आपके अंदर
So
अच्छे
the
संस्कार पैदा होते
real
हैं।
benefit of
इसलिए
seva
हमारे
is
श्लोक
that
में
you get good samskaras, and that is what purifies your heart.
इसलिए सेवा का महत्व बताया है।
That is why seva is
तो ये
glorified.
संस्कार जो है ये स्थायी
So this
होते हैं।
samskara, this is the permanent
कुछ
benefit.
प्रशंसा कर दी, आपका नाम कहीं पर आ गया,
And the other benefits, like you get
इसके
some praise, recognition, those are all temporary, though they don't give much
इसीलिए
value.
इस श्लोक में भगवान
That is why in this
यज्ञ के
verse,
बारे में
Bhagavan
बताते हैं कि इसका
is explaining
महत्व
about
क्या है।
yajna,
फिर
what is
उसके
its
आगे
importance.
वाले श्लोक में
And then in the next
कहते हैं कि
verse, he
देवान
speaks more.
भूतानि न ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परम भावयन्त श्रेयः परम अवाप्स्यथ। तो आगे कहते हैं कि इस यज्ञ
Translation,
के
Brahma
द्वारा देवताओं
continues,
का पोषण
nourish the devas through this yajna,
ऐसे
and by
करने
so
से
doing,
देवता तुमको
may the
प्रसन्न
devas
होते
be
हैं।
gracious to you.
इस प्रकार
Thus, through
पारस्परिक
mutual
प्रेम के द्वारा
benevolence,
तुम
you shall
सर्वोत्तम
attain the
सुख
highest
प्राप्त कर
welfare.
सकते हो। तो यहाँ वही परस्पर सहयोग की बात भगवान कह रहे हैं
So here also Bhagavan is
कि
talking about mutual
एक दूसरे का सहयोग करें, जितने
cooperation,
लोग
helping one each other,
उनका पोषण होता है यज्ञ से,
cooperating, because the
तो
devatas,
वैसे ही हम
they get
सब
nourished
ये
by this.
कर वाला जो आय
It is
व्यय
something like we discussed
जो
about
सरकार को आप
taxation.
टैक्स देते हैं तो
Like
वो
you give tax to the
आय
government,
करती है, उससे उसको
and
पैसा मिलता
government
है।
does
तो
beneficial
ट्रेजरी में
acts
पैसा
for
होगा
you.
तो वो उसका
If they have money in the treasury,
लाभ आपको ही मिलेगा उससे।
then you will get benefited
तो
by
इसलिए
that.
देवान भाव्यता, भाव्यता माने कि ये आप कीजिए ऐसा,
Bhavayanta means that you
उनको
do
प्रसन्न
this,
कीजिए।
you please them.
यानी कि भावे भू धातु से बना है, भावे है
The
वास्तव में
bhavaya is from bhu dhatu.
उनकी सत्ता जो है
It means that their
वो आप पर
existence
निर्भर है।
depends on you.
आप अगर यज्ञ नहीं करेंगे तो भी वो
If you do not perform
फंक्शन
yajna, then
करेंगे,
also they will continue to
स्वाभाविक रूप से
function,
करेंगे।
but they will do that
लेकिन
in
अगर
an
आप
ordinary, a general
यज्ञ
way.
करेंगे
But if you
तो वो
fulfill your
विशेष रूप से
duty,
आपकी सहायता करेंगे।
then they will specifically help you.
तो इसके लिए वो यहाँ पर आदेश देते हैं
So for
कि
that, Bhagavan
आप अपना
gives the instruction here
कर्तव्य कर्म कीजिए।
that you should continue performing your
जैसा
duty.
स्मृति शास्त्र कहते हैं कि हर
Like
एक व्यक्ति
Smriti Shastra says
के ऊपर 5
that
प्रकार के ऋण होते हैं।
every person is indebted
ऋषि
in
ऋण,
5 ways.
भूत ऋण, निर ऋण, पितृ ऋण। क्योंकि हमारा जीवन जो है वो केवल
Because our life
हमारे कारण ही नहीं चलता है,
does not
दूसरों
function
के
just
सहयोग
for
से चलता है।
us, just by us. It also functions by
इसलिए
cooperation from
कुछ
others.
व्यक्ति ऐसे हैं
And there are some
जो
people who cooperate,
हमें दिखाई नहीं देते,
but we cannot see them.
तो वो देवता लोग इसी प्रकार के हैं, पितृ
So
लोग इसी
devatas
प्रकार
also
के
are
हैं
also fall in this
जो
category.
हमारे
The
समाज
Pitris,
में
the
रहते हैं।
forefathers, they also fall in this category.
इसलिए
Other than that, people in
सबको सहयोग
society,
करना
they
चाहिए।
help us, the birds and animals,
मानव समाज
or the human society, that can be
तो
seen,
उनकी सहायता हमको करनी भी पड़ती है,
and we have to
नहीं तो
help
उनसे
them
भी
also.
सहायता नहीं मिलेगी।
Otherwise, we will also
इसके
not
अलावा
get help
ऋषि
from
जो
them.
पहले हो चुके हैं
But other than that, the
वो
rishis
हमको
who
आगे
have been
बढ़ाते
there
हैं।
earlier, and today we are
देवता
benefiting from their knowledge,
पितृ हैं,
the devatas, the pitris or
वो भी
forefathers,
हमारी सहायता करते हैं,
they also help
हमारे
us.
स्वास्थ्य के
So the forefathers,
व्यवस्थापक हैं और देवता
they
लोग
regulate our health, and
सृष्टि के
the
व्यवस्थापक हैं।
devatas, they regulate the functioning of this
तो इसी
universe.
प्रकार से है कि जैसे समाज में हॉस्पिटल होता है,
So it is like we have hospital in the society.
डॉक्टर्स हैं,
So we have doctors
गवर्नमेंट
there.
हॉस्पिटल होते हैं, वहाँ फ्री
Like there are
मेडिसिन मिलती
government
है।
hospitals, you get free medicines.
लेकिन वो तभी देगी ना सरकार जब उनको भी अपना
So
कुछ
that is possible
मिलता
only
रहेगा समाज से, तभी
if
कुछ फायदा होगा।
government gets taxes from the society. Otherwise, how will the government function? Otherwise, what will happen? They will construct the facility, but they do not have money, so they cannot provide free medicines. Or even if they provide, it will not be in the proper
तो इसी
way.
प्रकार से देवता है,
So similarly, there are devatas, the forefathers, the rishis. We are indebted to them.
उनको
So this yajna
ऋण उतारने के लिए किया
is
जाता है
also done to
ताकि वो
make ourselves
ठीक
free
तरीके
from
से
those
काम कर
debts.
सकें।
That is why it is said in Shastra every person should do the 5 yagyas, the Pancha yagya.
हवन यानी कि अग्नि
So
यज्ञ
that is not just fire sacrifice.
ऋषियों के लिए शास्त्र का अध्ययन करें
For
तो उससे भी हम
because we
समझते
are
हैं कि
indebted to rishis, we
भगवान
study Shastra, then they become pleased, and we will definitely be also
जिसके
benefited
यज्ञ
from
करने से
that.
होता है उसका तो हमको पता नहीं चलता है कि भाई
So when we do
उससे
yagya,
हमको क्या लाभ
you do not understand that how
मिलेगा
I did yagya fire sacrifice now when
लेकिन
or
जो
when I will get
ऋषि
benefit, or if at all I will
शास्त्र
get
का
benefit, we
अध्ययन
do not
करते हैं
know. But if we study
तो
Shastras,
इतना
because we are
समझते हैं कि
indebted to
इस
the
यज्ञ
rishis,
करने से हमें
then
क्या
at
होगा
this much we know
कैसे
minimum
कैसे
that we will be benefited
हमारे
by
जीवन में
studying
कैसे
Shastra,
भगवत
because we
गीता
will get good
भागवत का अध्ययन
knowledge.
करें
Like if there is
जिससे
Bhagavad
हमारे
Gita,
शास्त्र
if we study that,
जी की प्रशंसा
Vyasa
हो
has written, so Vyasa will be pleased to see
और
that we are studying Bhagavad Gita, and we will be benefited by
तभी तो
studying
उसका पता
Gita.
चल रहा है ना
So this is something we are
जो
understanding
हम करते
directly.
हैं उसका हमें लाभ मिलेगा
But when we do fire
इसका पता
sacrifice,
नहीं चलता
when or what, whether
इसलिए
we will get benefit or no, we
इसी
cannot
प्रकार से
ascertain that.
अगर हम परोपकार
So
करते हैं
similarly, when we do
तो उसका भी
service
परिणाम
in the
हम देख
society,
सकते
when we do social
हैं देख
service,
सकते हैं
we can see the result.
इसी प्रकार भूत यज्ञ का भी आप देख सकते हैं
Similarly, the Bhuta
इस
Yagya,
प्रकार
we can see that also.
अतिदेश कर सकते हैं यानी कि जब इनको करने से हमको लाभ
So
प्रत्यक्ष
then you can do
मिलेगा
Ati Desha, then
दूसरे प्रकार
by
के यज्ञ
doing
करने से भी हमको
doing acts, by doing yagyas where we see direct
तो
benefit,
ये
we
बहुत
can infer that
महत्वपूर्ण
the fire sacrifice can also be done.
नियम यहाँ
So this
बताया
is
गया है
a very
इसका
important rule that is being explained here.
कि हम अगर एक दूसरे की सेवा करें एक दूसरे
That
का
if we
परोपकार
serve each
करें
other, if we cooperate
तो हम
with each other,
समाज
if we
का
help each
कल्याण
other,
कर सकते हैं
then we can achieve the highest benefit.
तो यहाँ वास्तव में जब आप इस श्लोक को देखते हैं
So
श्रेय
actually, if you see this
तो
verse,
इससे पता चलता है
Shreya
कि जो
Param,
पहले श्लोक
from
में
this we
कहा
can
गया
understand that what was spoken in the previous
वो
verse,
वस्तु इष्ट काम दुख के आपकी
it was
इच्छाएं
said
पूरी
Ishta
करें
Kamadhuk, that this
इससे
yagya
यहाँ
will
पे
fulfill all your desires.
परम श्रेय है
And here it is said
ये केवल भौतिक
Paramashreya.
इच्छाओं की बात नहीं
So
है
it is not just talking
परम
about
श्रेय
material desires,
मोक्ष है
because Paramashreya is
परम
moksha,
शांति है
or achieving
सीधा
Bhagavan,
अर्थ यही होता है
attaining Bhagavan.
इष्ट काम दुख का सीधा अर्थ होता है कि
And Ishta Kamadhuk directly means that your desires will be
इच्छाएं पूरी
fulfilled.
होना है पूरी
So
होने से ऐसा
mostly
अर्थ निकलता है कि
your
मोक्ष
the meaning that comes out is that your desires will be fulfilled, means your material desires will be fulfilled.
नहीं है वास्तव
But
में
here the meaning is not actually
इस
of material desires, because in this verse it is said
तो
Paramashreya.
इससे ये पता चलता है कि जो
So from this we
श्रेय इष्ट
understand
काम
that in
दुख
the
शब्द
previous
है
verse when
इससे
Ishtakamadhuk word
पता
was
चलता है
used,
कि आपकी
the
भौतिक
meaning
इच्छाएं भी
was
पूरी होंगी
that your
और
material desires will be
परम श्रेय
fulfilled
भी प्राप्त
and
होगा
you will achieve spiritual benefit also, both.
जैसे कि वैशेषिक सूत्र में धर्म की
Like
जो व्याख्या
in
दी गई है
Vaisheshika Sutra, the
वह मुख्य
explanation of dharma which is given,
ऐसा धर्म कि जिससे भौतिक
that by which you will get material prosperity and
प्रयोजन की प्राप्ति हो वो धर्म
spiritual benefit also.
और धर्म जो है
That is dharma.
पूर्व मीमांसा के
And
अनुसार तो
in
यज्ञ है
according to Purva Mimamsa, dharma means yagya only.
धर्म जिज्ञासा जो पहला सूत्र है
The first sutra in
जैमिनी
Purva
जी की
Mimamsa
सूर्य वगैरह
of
की व्याख्या
Jaimini
की
ji,
गई तो पूरा
if
वर्ग
you
तो यज्ञ का ही होता
see,
है
the whole description is
धर्म
of
और धर्म
yagya only.
ये पर्यायवाची शब्द हैं एक
So
प्रकार से
dharma is a synonym for
तो
yagya.
इनको करने से अगर हम अपना
So it
नित्य
means
कर्म
that if we
भगवत भक्ति से
perform
करते हैं भगवत
our
भक्ति में
duties
उनको अर्पण
as
करते हैं
a seva to Bhagavan, offering to Bhagavan,
तो
then
वही
we will achieve our material desires as well as we will
आपकी आध्यात्मिक
also achieve our
उन्नति में
spiritual purpose. We will attain the
ऐसा
spiritual
इस
goal.
श्लोक और पिछले श्लोक दोनों को अगर हम मिलाकर उनका अर्थ करें तो ये
In
अर्थ आता
so
है
this is the meaning that is direct that comes out if we analyze both verses together.
नहीं तो ऐसा समझते
Earlier
हैं
it
कि
was said
यज्ञ जो
Ishtakam
है
and here it is said Paramashreya. Otherwise one may
भौतिक
say
प्राप्ति होती
that yagya is just meant
है
for
तो जैसा
fulfilling material desires.
प्रवचन में मैंने
So
कहा
as I had
कर्म जो है
explained in the previous class,
नित्य कर्म नैमित्तिक
that
कर्म
karma is
निषिद्ध
nitya,
कर्म
naimittika and nishiddha, these three
नित्य कर्म
types.
जो है वो उनको कहते हैं
So
कि जिनके
nitya karma
करने
refers
से
to
कोई
those
लाभ नहीं होता
karma which if
अथवा
done do
करने
not
से
give any benefit,
हानि
but
होती
if
है
not done
ऐसी पूर्व
they
मीमांसा की व्याख्या है
lead to defect.
लेकिन वास्तव में ऐसा नहीं है
This
कोई
is
हानि
according
नहीं
to
होती
Purva Mimamsa. But actually it is not that if they are done there is no
वास्तव में
benefit.
ऐसा नहीं है
Benefit is
जितना भी
there,
हम कर्म
but
करें
not exactly as per how we get benefit in sakama karma. So if you do nitya karma, then according to Purvamimamsa you do achieve swarga. But here, when those karmas are offered to Bhagavan, then you get the Paramashreya. Further ahead, Bhagavan says that if karma, by performing karma, Janaka, etc., they achieve the ultimate benefit. And in the 18th chapter, it is explained that by this you can achieve moksha, you can attain Bhagavan also, if karma is performed in that way. So that is why here it is said that by mutual cooperation you can achieve the Paramashreya, the ultimate benefit. So the point is that we should perform our responsibilities, our duties.
हमें मोक्ष या भगवत प्राप्ति जो भी दोनों में से जो भी
And by doing that, we can achieve either moksha or attain Bhagavan according to whatever is our goal. The other point is that our senses, the action performing senses and the knowledge acquiring senses, they have their devatas. So just like when we perform any action,
दोनों के सहयोग से होता है.
It happens by cooperation of both, because the karmendriyas, the senses, the action performing senses, they cannot function without the knowledge acquiring senses. Because if there is no knowledge, how will the other senses perform action? And if the knowledge acquiring senses, they just acquire knowledge, like if you have hunger and you can see food in front of you, so you get the knowledge that food is kept there. But in order to get that food, you have to use your hands and legs. So by cooperation with the action performing senses, you will get the food and then you can live. So just like both life continues by the cooperation of both types of senses, similarly by the cooperation of human beings and devatas, this world continues. So in Sankhya, there is a nyaya called Andhapangu Nyaya. So it says that the Prakriti is blind and Atma is lame. It doesn't have legs. Because Atma alone cannot do anything. All the action is done by Prakriti only.
आत्मा तो केवल शरीर में बैठा हुआ है.
Atma is just sitting inside the body.
आत्मा की स्थिति से ही ज्ञान होता है.
But
चेतनता तो आत्मा में ही है.
if there is Atma, then only we get knowledge, because consciousness is in Atma only. So they make a nyaya that you consider as if Atma, has eyes but doesn't have legs, and the Prakriti, the material nature, has legs but doesn't have eyes, and both are in the forest. So from there, how do they come out? So for coming out, the process is this only, that the Atma sits on the Prakriti and gives guidance that now go here, go there, and then both can together by cooperation come out of that dense forest. So similarly, our knowledge acquiring senses, they have eyes but they do not have legs, and the action performing senses, they have their legs but not the eyes. So by their cooperation, life continues. If you have only one, then you cannot function. Similarly, in this world, these devatas, they are called Adhik Devik, and our body is Adi Bhautik. So by their cooperation, life can continue. That they give us guidance and then we perform action. Doing yajna means we perform our karma. Yajna and karma, dharma, all same only.
आवश्यकताओं की पूर्ति
and
करेंगे।
then the devatas they fulfill our
इसलिए
needs.
कहते हैं कि परम श्रेय
So
आपको प्राप्त होगा।
so Bhagavan is telling
तो
here
ये
that with
परम
that
श्रेय
you will achieve the ultimate
मनुष्यों के लिए है,
prosperity.
देवताओं के लिए नहीं है।
So this Paramashray ultimate benefit is for human
अगर
beings,
आप
not for
यज्ञ
the
करते हैं
devatas. If you are
जिस
doing
प्रकार से यहाँ
yajna
बताया गया है,
the way it is explained here,
तो वो
then
आपको परम श्रेय देता है,
it
देवताओं को
will
नहीं देता।
give you ultimate benefit to you, not to the devatas.
बड़ी विचित्र बात है।
This is also something very
देवताओं
peculiar,
के लिए यज्ञ किया जाता है
that
तो
the
उनका
devatas
श्रेय
for
क्या ही
whom
मिलने वाला है?
yajna is done,
उनका तो
they
पोषण
do not
करना
get
है,
any shreya. They will just get nourished,
उनका जो अपना उत्तरदायित्व है वो उनको निभाना पड़ेगा।
and they will have to fulfill their own
इससे उनका
responsibilities.
मोक्ष नहीं हो जाएगा,
But they will not achieve any moksha if
लेकिन
you are
यज्ञ
doing
करने से
yajna.
मोक्ष हो जाएगा।
But if you do yajna, you can
इसलिए
achieve
देवताओं को
moksha.
मनुष्य योनि में जन्म
That
लेने
is
का बहुत
why the
चाहते हैं।
devatas also
ओम
want to take birth
शांताकारि
in
शोभनं
the human form.
प्रसन्न एषामुत स्वयमेव हरि यैर्जन्म लब्धम भारताजिरे मुकुंद सेवोपैकम स्पृहा ही ना। देवता लोग भी कहते हैं मनुष्य को देख के
Devatas also tell, seeing the
क्या
human
पुण्य
beings,
किया है,
they wonder
मनुष्य
that
का जन्म
what
लिया,
pious actions they have done that they
इनके ऊपर
achieved this human form of life.
प्रसन्न हैं इसलिए इनको
Bhagavan is
मनुष्य
pleased with
दे
them.
दिया है,
That is why they have achieved this human
जिससे
form of life.
मुकुंद सेवा
Because in this life,
कर सकते हैं।
you can do seva to
मनुष्य
Mukunda.
शरीर है भगवान की सेवा के लिए
Because this
सबसे
human
उत्तम
form of
शरीर है।
life is the best form for doing seva to Bhagavan.
इसमें हमारी भी इच्छा है ऐसी
So the
इस शरीर को
devatas
प्राप्त करने
also
की।
desire to obtain
स्पृहा ही
this
ना।
body.
तो इसलिए जो
So that
परम
is
श्रेय
why
है
the
उसके
ultimate
लिए यहाँ
benefit,
कहा कि आपको
for that here it
मैं
is said
देवताओं को
that
देने वाला हूँ।
you will get it. It doesn't say that this verse doesn't say that the devatas will get the paramashriya,
तो
the
फिर
ultimate benefit. But if we do not perform yajna,
ये हमारा दुर्भाग्य है,
then it will be our
क्या
misfortune.
कहा जा सकता
What else can be said?
है कि ऐसा सुअवसर हमको प्राप्त हुआ है।
That we achieved such a nice opportunity.
हमें भगवान ने गीता भी दी है
Bhagavan
ताकि
has
हम इस
given us
अवसर को समझ सके, क्योंकि आपको
Gita
अवसर
also,
प्राप्त
so
हुआ
that
है,
we can understand this.
आपको अवसर प्राप्त
Because
हुआ
if
है
you
तो
have
उसका लाभ
opportunity
लेना
but you do
चाहिए।
not understand that you have opportunity, you cannot
तो
derive benefit
सौभाग्य की
from
बात
that.
है कि हमको सबसे पहले
So
तो ये
it is
अवसर
our
मिला
great fortune that first of
शरीर
all
का।
we got the human form of life.
दूसरा
So we
इसमें
have the opportunity
ये
to
होता है
get
कि
the
अवसर
ultimate
मिलने पर
benefit.
उसका हम ऐसे
And
लाभ
the
नहीं
other
लेते
thing
हैं।
is that we are also fortunate that we have got the
उसके बाद भी
knowledge
अगर हम
that
लाभ नहीं
we
उठा
have
पाते
this opportunity,
तो
the
उसका हमें बहुत
possibility
दुख
to
होता
gain
है।
the ultimate benefit. So in despite having both, if we do not derive the
इसलिए
benefit, then
भगवान
it is our greatest
बताते हैं
misfortune.
कि
What else can be said?
अगर
Then later Bhagavan
इस
will
प्रकार से
say
नहीं करते
that
हैं
if one does not act
तो उसकी
like
क्या
this,
स्थिति होगी।
then what will be his condition, his
और
situation?
यज्ञ के बारे में आगे बोलेंगे, चौथे पांचवें इस अध्याय में भी बोलेंगे।
And later in the fourth and fifth chapters also he will explain about
भगवान
yajna,
भोक्ता और
and
प्रभु
he will also explain
नहीं है,
that
अहम
I am the
ब्रह्म ये
ultimate
भी इसमें लिखा
bhokta
है
and the
इसलिए
prabhu of all the yajnas.
भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च। तो अंतिम उद्देश्य है
So the
यज्ञ
ultimate
का
objective
उनको
of
संतुष्ट करना है,
yajna is
देवताओं को
to
संतुष्ट करना है।
satisfy Bhagavan, not just the
अगर वो
devatas.
वास्तव में संतुष्ट हो जाए तो सब
And
यज्ञ
if
सफल हो
Bhagavan
जाएंगे।
is actually satisfied, then all the yajna is successful. So we will
और
stop
इसमें
here.
कोई प्रश्न
And
पूछना
if you
है
have any question, you can ask.
बोलिए।
पहले तो जो पहले आपने जो बात चल रही थी फंडामेंटल राइट्स और ड्यूटी है,
ये दूसरा ले लो।
तो जिसको ड्यूटी
Question:
दी जाती है उसी को तो
one who is given
फंडामेंटल की
duty,
बात करी थी।
only he gets rights,
हाँ
like
जी,
you spoke about Jai Vijay.
अधिकार दिया ही ड्यूटी करने के लिए दिया ही जाता है।
हाँ,
So rights
देवताओं
are
को
given for performance of duties only. Otherwise, why will
अगर
somebody give
कोई
you rights?
आश्रम है और वो
Like I
दूसरों
have
को
this
ड्यूटी करके
ashram.
अपना अधिकार
So just
जताता
somebody
है
comes from outside and starts claiming rights
मेरा
that I will
अधिकार
live
इस
in this
कमरे में
room,
है,
I have rights to live in this
हाँ
room,
मेरा
I
अधिकार है,
will take food here, this is my fundamental right.
तो ऐसे थोड़े होता है। नहीं,
So
आप
it
यहाँ
doesn't happen like this.
स्मृति में तो
So if you stay here, if I give you a room, then you also have some duties, responsibilities that you attend class or study or some seva. But just like that, without any reason, somebody comes and claims rights. That cannot be given. Rights are always given for fulfilling responsibilities. So now if I talk of Bhakti Marg,
साध्य की तरफ
so by sadhana we achieve the
कहते हैं एक
sadhya.
चीज हो जाती है कि हालांकि वो तो दूसरा आप इसको स्पष्ट कर देंगे कि साधन साध्य नहीं कृपा साध्य है
हाँ हाँ, लेकिन कृपा तो तभी मिलेगी जब तुम आप कुछ
So
करोगे।
if you will get kripa only if you do something, kripa is just not given like that, free of
लोग ऐसे
cost.
सोचते हैं कि कृपा साध्य का मतलब हो गया कि
People
आपको
think
कुछ
that
नहीं
kripa
करना।
siddha means that we don't
तो
have
ऐसा
to
होता
do
है तो फिर
anything.
भगवान क्यों कृपा करेंगे?
So why will Bhagavan give kripa to such lazy fellows?
कोई भी बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति
Any
कृपा
intelligent
क्यों करेगा?
person, why will he do that?
मानो जैसे आप हैं
Like
और कोई
you
व्यक्ति
consider,
आपको
let's say yourself and some very
आपकी
poor
सहायता
person,
सहायता
and
करने
he
के लिए
comes to you and you
तो
help
बाद में
that
जब से पता
person.
चले कि ये केवल मांगता ही रहता है, स्वयं कुछ
But
करने
when
की
you
कोशिश
understand,
करने
you
की बजाय
realize that this
भागो
person
यहाँ से,
is capable of
तो फिर
working but
फिर वो
always asks for
कृपा
money.
करेगा वो?
Then will you
तो
not
आप
send him
आप
away,
कुछ प्रयास
saying that
करते
you
हैं
are
और
always
जब
coming and
आपको
asking for money but you don't do anything?
उसकी सफलता मिलती है तो आपको भी प्रसन्नता होगी, लेकिन केवल आप
But
वो
if he
सहायता
also does something, then you will be happy
नहीं करता
that by your help he could do something.
तो आपको उससे फिर प्रसन्नता
But
नहीं
if he
होगी।
doesn't do anything, you will become frustrated that he always asks for money but doesn't do any seva.
यज्ञ की सामग्री क्या है? यज्ञ की
Next
सामग्री क्या
question,
है?
what is the samagri
यज्ञ की
of
सामग्री
yajna?
मैंने सुना कि इष्ट शब्द का
I
अर्थ
have
दो
heard
प्रकार है,
that
वो दो
ishta
प्रकार क्या है?
has two
जो भी
meanings.
आप यज्ञ करते हैं, जैसे
So
अग्निहोत्र
answer, like when you do yagnihotra
या चातुर्मास्य यज्ञ कर रहे
or
हैं,
you are doing chaturmas yajna,
अगर उसमें
somayag.
आगे यज्ञ कर रहे हैं, आगे यज्ञों की बहुत
Later
व्याख्या करेंगे,
coming up, Bhagavan will give lot of
तो उसमें
explanation for
आवश्यक रूप से आप
yagyas.
ज्ञान यज्ञ
So
भी करते
whatever
हैं।
is needed for that, like if you are doing Gyan Yagya, you will have books, you will have teachers.
आप अगर अन्नदान करने का यज्ञ कर रहे हैं तो
If you
उसमें
are doing
ज्ञान
the
आवश्यक
Yagya
है।
of giving food as charity, then that food, that will be the samagri.
In the countries where there is a dictatorship countries, they talk a lot about duties, about obeisances, about all many things, taking authority in Quran, in Bible, or even in Bhagavad Gita. But still, it is for their power, for dictator power. So how to refute them?
Refute them?
Yes.
How will you refute them if they are dictator?
But
Then they will cut your head.
yes, I mean to refute this logic, because when I am in
Which logic?
a democratic country, for example, and we talk about these things, we can hear, okay, do you want a dictatorship here? Do you prefer democratic or the dictatorship? So it looks like actually nowadays there are only two ways for society organization. Either it is democracy with all drawbacks, or it is dictatorship.
Yeah, but what's your question? I'm not clear.
Question is what to say to people who are not, who see in who see only dictatorship features in statement like duties of the people should be done.
So what is dictatorship in this? I mean, suppose you are a father and you have children. So if I say that you should take care of your children, is this dictatorship? Because as a father, it's your duty. or as a mother, it's your duty to do that. So what is dictatorship in this?
But, for example, the fact that the power is elected, the power of the country is elected by votes.
Yeah.
And we can hear that this doesn't work, that there is corruption and so on. So
why is the corruption? Because they are not doing their duty, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's what he's saying. So why corruption comes? Whether it is dictatorship, you see, dictatorship also is frowned by people because the dictator is not doing his duty. If the dictator does his duty, there is nothing wrong with it. The problem comes when people do not do their duty. Dictator is not there just to exploit people. Dictator means that he controls and he does welfare to them. Originally it is meant like that. And if you talk or hear the speech of a dictator, he will also speak like this, that I want to serve the country for the benefit of the country, for this, for that. But when they only speak and not do it, that is where the problem comes. Same whether it is democracy or dictatorship. The problem comes only when they do not do their duty. So previously in India there were kings. So king is also like the dictator. But now the word dictator has become negative. But if the king does his duty, which is Ranjanath Raja, Praja Ranjanath Raja, the very word Raja has the meaning that the one who pleases the people, that is king. Means he is like a father. That's why he was treated like God. Just like God takes care of everybody, Krishna also says that among human beings I am the king. But no, king also says. So he has responsibility. So it's the same thing that they're saying we have the adhikar, right. As a dictator I have a right, but I forget the duty part. But the right is there only because of the duty. So when you only flaunt your right and not do the duty, that's what is corruption.
Nowadays, is it possible to have this social organization with dictator who follows
Possible
his duties?
Everything is possible if human being wants to do it. The one who is not following the duty has become possible because he is not following. It can also be possible if he follows. So I will speak in Hindi for others, those who are not. तो उनका प्रश्न ये है कि
So the
आजकल
question is that
ये गणतंत्र
nowadays this democracy and dictatorship, we have two models of governance.
तानाशाही वाले हैं,
Those who are dictators,
लोग कुछ कहते हैं कि वो
people, some people say that the dictatorship is wrong
गणतंत्र ठीक है.
and democracy is correct. So my point is that whether it is democracy or dictatorship,
समस्या तभी आती है
the problem happens only
राजनीतिक
when
वोट से बने हैं,
whether the person has become a leader by vote or by being
कर्तव्य नहीं निभाते हैं.
authoritarianship.
तो जो
The
भारत
problem happens only when they
है
do
उसको
not
भी
perform their
अधिकार
duties.
तभी मिला है कि वो कुछ कार्य
The dictator has also got the right only
उनकी अगर आप
to perform his duties towards the society.
जनता के
But
समक्ष
if you hear their speeches, they say that we will function for the benefit of society.
शब्द आज
But when they do not perform their duties, that is why dictatorship has got the
थे
a very
लेकिन वो जनता की
negative
सेवा
meaning.
करते थे.
So in India also earlier
कि जो प्रजा का
there were
रंजन
authorities, dictatorship, but that was the kings were there. But the kings had their duty to perform welfare for the society.
तो वही फिर डिक्टेटर
But if the king does not perform welfare for the society, the king just becomes a dictator.
किसी के लिए कोई कार्य नहीं करता है,
He's just exploiting the society,
जाता है कर
just imposing taxes.
तो समस्या तभी आती है जब व्यक्ति केवल
So problem happens only when
कर्तव्य नहीं करता,
person only claims rights but does not perform duty.
आपका जीवन
So for that reason, here Bhagavan is explaining that your life
तभी आपको अधिकार
is for performing your duties, and if you perform your duties, you get the rights also.
प्रणाम बाबा जी। तो ऑन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ
हिंदी में बोलो।
सॉरी, ये कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कृपा के बारे में आपने बात
Question,
किया,
you spoke about kripa, mercy, that how will Bhagavan give kripa to a lazy person.
थोड़ा सा
भगवान तो स्वयं ही कहेंगे कि मैं हमेशा काम करता
काम करता हूँ, मैं काम नहीं किया तो कैसे?
Bhagavan himself says that I am always active, I never take rest.
काम तो एक एक्टिविटी है, तो देन उसके पीछे इंटेंशन,
So work is an activity, and we know that intention matters
छोटा है किसी का काम,
more behind the action, because somebody's work is big, somebody's small.
किसी व्यक्ति हम कह रहे हैं,
Now we are talking about this lazy person. So this lazy person, although he is lazy, for his own sense enjoyment, he can go till any extent. But when it comes to seva, then he becomes lazy.
अपना सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के लिए भी वो कितना हद तक जा रहे हैं, बिकॉज लिमिटेशन है ना एक आदमी का काम करने का। ये दोनों महत्व रखते हैं बाबा जी,
दोनों महत्व रखते हैं। मतलब
सपोज वो अपना सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के लिए भी एक्स काम ही कर पा रहे, तो जब बिकॉज उनका
So question is, he is performing limited activity for his own sense enjoyment,
कैपेसिटी वो भगवान का सेवा में भी लगा रहे अपना फुल कैपेसिटी में, तो
and giving the full capacity in seva also.
आलसी का मतलब वो करना ही नहीं चाहता है। अगर
The answer, lazy means he does not want to do. If he is performing according to his capacity, why will you call him lazy? Lazy means he doesn't want to do activity. He wants to get result without performing action.
तो यही भ्रष्टाचार इसी को
So this is corruption.
भगवान कहते हैं कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्तु मा फलेषु कदाचन। आपका अधिकार जो है
Bhagavan says in Gita that your adhikar is in karma and not in result. And human beings say that my adhikar is in result, not in karma. I should not perform action and I should just be able to give result. Bhagavan says that you do your activity, don't worry about result. But human beings are telling exactly opposite thing.
प्रश्न है, आपने गणतंत्र और इसका डिक्टेटरशिप का बात किया।
Next question, you spoke about democracy and dictatorship. In both of them, the problem is not doing duties. If you take in today's society,
चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस होते हैं, मतलब
like we have the
अपना काम
check and balance, there is judicial system, administrative system also.
राजाओं के लिए भी तो नियम था।
So answer, earlier there were rules and regulations, Smriti Shastras for kings also, not that king can do whatever he likes. Even king could be punished.
मोस्टली वो जुडिशियल की भी
But here when we talk about dictatorship, it is even above the judiciary.
वो अपना ड्यूटी तो करे, तुम ऊपर रहो।
So answer, okay, you remain above the judiciary, but you perform your duties. And what is the point of your being a dictator? What is the objective? Objective is to fulfill your own selfish ambitions, or to act for the welfare of society.
फॉलो करना नहीं है, ऑटोमेटिकली समाज का कल्याण तो होगा ही नहीं। तो अगर
शास्त्र नहीं है तो देश का कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन तो है, तो उसको तो मानो। आज
So
शास्त्र
at least you have the constitution, you can follow that.
पहले शास्त्र था, तो अब संविधान को तो मानो।
सो या डिक्टेटर
Earlier there was Shastra, now you have constitution, at least follow that.
तो वो अपनी ड्यूटी नहीं कर रहा है ना।
So if the dictator is not following that, then he is not doing his duty. But that is not actually the meaning of dictator.
जैसे आज के राजनेता भी तो नहीं मानते हैं।
नहीं मानते, पर एटलीस्ट
Like you see nowadays, the ministers, they also do not listen to that.
बैलन कोई गोली मार देगा उसको।
So even in dictatorship, check and balance is there. Somebody will revolt and just shoot the dictator.
थोड़ा सा ये बेहतर दिख सकता है, इसे जस्ट वो थॉट रखने के लिए बताया बाबा जी, कुछ नहीं। देन फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज भी है ना बाबा जी, ये फंडामेंटल राइट्स के बारे में हम ज्यादा बात करते हैं।
So we talk of fundamental rights and duties in constitution. There are duties also. So does anybody know about his duty?
फंडामेंटल राइट्स आर वैलिड ओनली जब तक आप फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज निभाओगे, मतलब
लेकिन उसको तो किसी को बताते नहीं है।
So people are not taught about their duties. Everybody talks about his right only.
ठीक है,
जस्ट कॉन्टेक्स्ट को थोड़ा सा एलाबोरेट करना चाहता था, क्षमा कर दीजिए बाबूजी।
और तो कुछ नहीं है।
जीवा की संतुष्टि के लिए जानवरों की हत्या करना तथा जानकर या
Question:
गलती से
for satisfaction of the jiva, killing animals.
क्या?
जीवा की संतुष्टि के लिए
Sorry, for satisfaction,
जीवा
for
जीवा की संतुष्टि के लिए
for
जानवरों
satisfaction of tongue,
गलती से या
killing animals, and or
को मारना
by mistake killing mosquitoes, etc. Do both have same result? Answer: no. Obviously, both don't have same result. The first one will have very grave consequences.
यूट्यूब से दूसरा प्रश्न है,
Next question:
हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र का गलियों या बाजार में तेजी से उच्चारण करना शास्त्रों के हिसाब से गलत है क्या?
is it wrong according to Shastra to chant Mahamantra loudly in the street? Answer: what is the link of this question with today's class? Please ask question that is relevant to the subject discussed in the class.
मैं कुछ भी करूं लेकिन उससे प्रयोजन क्या है? गली में से मैंने कोई उसकी बात ही नहीं की यहाँ पे।
प्रश्न है, बाबा जी आपने जीव गोस्वामी जी के शब्द को कोट करते हुए कहा
Question: you were quoting Jiva Goswami ji and you said that the primary reason of dukkha is Bhagavad Vaimukhyata. Even after knowing this,
आकर्षित हो गया है कि ये मूल बात
the chitta is so much materially attracted that we forget this. Although the sadhana is said like Navada Bhakti, Vairagya, etc.,
इस बात को भी मन
but my mind forgets this and
भाव आ जाता है
gets into doership while performing duties. So in this, being immersed in this maya, what should I do so that we can turn from Vaimukhyata to Samukhyata and make our life successful?
आर्जवता से अपनी साधना करते रहिए तो उससे आपका
So answer: you should perform your sadhana diligently, but it takes time. So you need dhairya, patience also. Like Sri Rupa Goswami says, utsahat nishchayat dhairya tat tat karma pravartanat. So you should perform sadhana diligently, but with patience. It is not a magic stick.
एकदम से आपका मन जो है वो वैमुख्य से सामुख्य में
There
आ
is no
जाएगा।
such magic that instantly your mind will turn from Vaimukhya to Samukhya.
करोड़ों जिसकी कोई सीमा नहीं है, इतने
So
सारे
from since beginningless time, you cannot count how much time you have been away, turned away from Bhagavan. So now you want to turn towards Bhagavan. So obviously you have to do hard work and you have to have patience and have faith. Those people who want very quick result, this is also a symptom of lack of Shraddha, desiring quick result.
फल में आसक्ति दिखाता है।
This also shows your attachment to the result. Quick result means my attachment is in the result,
और उस साधना में नहीं।
not in the sadhana.
आसक्ति को आप साधना में रखिए।
So you should become attached to the sadhana, not to the result.
अगर देखना है तो केवल इसलिए कि मैं कितनी
Seeing result should be only to the extent for our own self analysis, that how much I am progressing. Otherwise, generally people think that quickly I should get result. So this is also a type of attachment.
बताया ना मैंने, एक कर्म आसक्ति, एक फल आसक्ति और एक कर्तृत्व में आसक्ति।
As I said, there is a attachment in the karma, the phala, the doership. So this is attachment to the result. And many sadhakas have this attachment to the result because it is very subtle. It can't be seen very clearly.
अपनी साधना में निष्ठा करके
So you should have nishtha in your sadhana and continue that.
यूट्यूब से प्रश्न है, कर्मयोग का पालन करने के लिए कर्तव्यों की
Question:
जानकारी किन शास्त्रों से प्राप्त होती है?
for performing karma yoga, from which shastras do we get knowledge of the karma that we should do? Answer: from Bhagavad Gita only. Next question: for performing karma yoga, do we need to accept guru? Answer: yes, at least for understanding you need. Earlier those who did karma yoga, they had brahmanas, advisors. They used to learn from the brahmanas. For learning anything, you need a coach or guide, whatever you call.
अगर आपके अंदर इतनी बुद्धि है कि आप स्वयं
If you have so much knowledge that you understand everything on your own, then you don't need the guru.
संदीप जी का प्रश्न है
Next
कि
question.
ऐसा भी दृश्य
Can
हो
there
सकता
be a
है
scenario where there are only duties and no rights? Like
उदाहरण
people give example of Shudras in Varnashram.
क्या उदाहरण है? उनका कोई अधिकार नहीं है?
So do you mean to say that Shudras don't have any rights?
कर्तव्य तो अधिकार भी है।
If they have duties, they have rights also. If they are doing seva, they also have rights to get their clothes, for residence, food. They have the rights. It's not that you just do seva and then you get kicked away from there.
तो बाबा जी महाराज वो दोष जो जो सेवा ले रहा है उसके ऊपर जाएगा ना, कि मतलब क्योंकि लोग इसका एग्जाम्पल देते हैं कि जैसे शूद्र थे, उनको कोई राइट्स ही नहीं थी, वो सिर्फ अपनी ड्यूटी।
क्या राइट नहीं था?
So like people say that Shudras never have any rights. So answer, what rights do Kshatriyas have?
पालन करता है प्रजा का और मतलब रूल करता है।
वो तो उसका कर्तव्य है। वो
Ruling is his duty. How does that become his right?
राइट उसका मतलब जो भी सुविधाएं हैं रूल करने के लिए, वो उसका उपयोग करता है।
तो वो ड्यूटी के कारण ही तो है उसका।
So he is getting those rights, those facilities for performing duty only. Like if a Shudra is doing seva, so you have to give him some facilities or no?
सुविधा जो ले रहा है वो तो सेवा के लिए ले रहा है।
Is getting facilities to do the seva only.
शूद्र क्या समझते हैं आपके? को झाड़ू लगाता वो शूद्र है?
What is your understanding of Shudra? Somebody just sweeping, that is Shudra or what? Blacksmith, cobbler, goldsmith, potter, these are all Shudras. So do you think they have no rights or what?
चलो प्रार्थना श्लोक। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धम गीतामृतम महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयसा निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रये भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम। हरि ओम तत्सत।